an American has a heart attack while on vacation down under in Australia. And after he comes into the hospital, the nurse walks in, and the man, still confused, asks, "Did you bring me here to die?" The nurse replies, "No, mate, they brought you in yesterday." Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A very good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Ryan here again with yet another high-impact algorithm in internal medicine. This is our second in cardiology and our 28th overall. A big thank you to everybody who's been liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. And today we're discussing quite a common clinical scenario, chest pain, of which there are 32 diverse etiologies. So let's dig in. Sources of chest pain can be cardiac or non-cardiac. The majority of cases of chest pain are non-cardiac in nature. That's a good one to note. Cardiac chest pain can be related to acute coronary syndrome or unrelated to acute coronary syndrome, which is ACS, as mentioned here in the algorithm, as you can see there. The symptoms of ACS or acute coronary syndrome include chest, upper extremity, mandibular, or epigastric discomfort that occurs with exertion or at rest and typically lasts above 20 minutes in duration. Associated symptoms may include diaphoresis, nausea, and syncope associated with dysautonomic symptoms. So, acute coronary syndrome includes the following distinct clinical entities: ST elevation myocardial infarct, unstable angina, or non-ST elevation myocardial infarct. The electrocardiographic features of ST elevation myocardial infarction include hyperacute T waves and ST segment elevation in at least 2 contiguous leads. The ECG features of unstable angina or NSTEMI include ST segment depression and T wave inversion in at least 2 contiguous leads. Now, STEMI and NSTEMI are associated with elevated serum biomarkers. Okay, looking at your troponin I, your troponin T, your CKMB fraction, to mention a few. Acute plaque rupture is the prototypical and most common mechanism of ACS, and the causes of non-cardiac chest pain can be substratified into pulmonary, gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal, and others. So before we dig into the algorithm, I thought we'd keep things a little bit fresh and exciting today by discussing an OSCE question for all you OSCE buffs out there. This one is taken from the Mayo Clinic, okay? 54-year-old woman with diabetes arrives in the emergency department complaining of lightheadedness and confusion. Her ECG is shown here. What do you conclude? So first up, we try and answer the question before even looking at the options. So what can we observe here? Oh, what is this? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Massive ST elevation. Now we can look at the territory. Look, 2, 3 AVF, right? So we know that that is depth. So by the way, sorry, this is lead 1, 2, 3. AVR, AVL, AVF, and then we have V1 through V6 there. And this is just a trace of lead 2 here. Okay, and I think V1 and V2. So what we can observe is massive ST elevation, 2, 3 AVF, that's our inferior territory. Looking over at the lateral territory as well, V5 and V6, we have ST depression in 1 and AVL. So there's affectation of the inferior and the lateral portion of the myocardium. And if you look closely at the anterior septal territory here, V1 to V4, over on to V3, we can see ST depression as well. So those are what we call reciprocal changes, right? So the answer here is an acute inferior myocardial infarction. All right. And let's go back to our algorithm. So chest pain, like we said, to dig into this, is classified as cardiac or non-cardiac. So of the 13 cardiac causes, we can substratify them into being acute coronary syndrome related or non-ACS related, right? So if it's ACS, we said it's ST elevation, MI, or it could fit into the spectrum of unstable angina or NSTEMI. Okay, and the way we separate this is that they both give a history of typical chest pain. Okay, by typical chest pain, we mean that it's brought on by exertion or relieved by rest or TNT, which is glycerol nitrate. We say that it's associated with dysautonomic features. It often radiates down the arm, the left arm, or the neck, into the neck, and so forth. And the other typical thing we look at is ECG changes. So if there's ST elevation, definitely is a STEMI, or if there's this ST depression, T wave inversion, or non-specific changes, it fits into this category. And of course, we look at the serum biomarkers. So is there cardiac enzyme leak? Okay, and the 5 reasons why you get this scenario is plaque rupture, stent thrombosis, coronary artery embolism, vasospasm, and coronary artery dissection. Then if we're looking at non-acute coronary syndrome causes of cardiac chest pain, we look at stable angina pectoris, aortic stenosis, very common, especially amongst the elderly, pericarditis, Okay, but here the ECG will show you diffuse ST elevation, not conforming to any particular vascular territory, and the pain is usually relieved on sitting forward. Aortic dissection is typically a tearing chest pain radiating through the back, vasospasm, myocarditis, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, Holcomb and mitral valve prolapse. Okay, so once again, we said if there's any condition involving the heart, I like to think of it in terms of, is it affecting the endocardium, the myocardium, the pericardium, or is it affecting the aorta, or is it a conductive issue? All right. So non-cardiac chest pain we divide into pulmonary, gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal, and others. So under pulmonary, once again, you see that when you're looking at the lungs, any pathology in the lungs, I like to stratify it in terms of, is it affecting the airway, the parenchyma, the pleura, or the vasculature? So if you break it down, you can see pleurisy and pneumothorax affects the pleura. Okay, what affects the parenchyma is pneumonia. What affects the vasculature is pulmonary embolus and pulmonary hypertension. And you also have acute chest syndrome. When do we see this? In sickle cell crisis. Okay. Gastrointestinal causes, think about it in terms of the esophagus, the stomach, the bowel, the liver, pancreas, and so forth. So gastroesophageal reflux disease, peptic ulcer disease affecting the stomach, esophageal spasm, esophageal rupture affecting the esophagus, affecting the liver, we think about, and the biliary system, we think about biliary colic, and usually this is in association with eating fatty foods, right? And pancreatitis, right? Musculoskeletal issues like costochondritis, trauma, rib fracture, radiculopathy, and tumor. I just want to talk about costochondritis here. This exhibits point tenderness. So if you press on a specific portion of the rib cage, the pain is exacerbated at that point. That's quite specific. That's also called Tietze's syndrome. And then other causes like anxiety and herpes zoster as well. Giving you 19 non-cardiac causes of chest pain, 13 whopping cardiac causes of chest pain, giving you 32 in total. All right. So that's a motivation for you again this morning. Anything you do joyfully is always effortless. I'll say that again. Anything you do joyfully is always effortless. Now, I mentioned that I'm a Christian as well. Okay. And the Bible makes numerous references to the heart. We're talking about the heart. We're getting to the heart of things, right? Both in the New and the Old Testament. So to quote just 3 scriptures for you this morning, Proverbs, this is from the Old Testament, of course. Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean upon your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." All right. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, the next chapter says, "And above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life." And probably one of my favorite verses in all scripture is Colossians chapter 3, verse number 23. This is hopping over to the New Testament that says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for man." And I pray that will be the ambition for ourselves. We'll set that as an ambition to work. And whatever we do when we're working, we work at it with all our hearts, as working for the Lord and not for man. So you have yourselves a fantastic day. I'll catch you tomorrow with a third algorithm in cardiology. Take care.